Morning, it's day 2 of the individuals of the CrossFit Games and technically day 4 if you watch the masters and everything else. I am in a massive rush. I literally need to leave like right now and I have to cycle in and then get into the press pit in time for 10:30. It's just about to go 10 o'clock, so I'm in a massive rush and I've just made myself some porridge so that I can make sure that I eat today and I'm not going to have a huge amount of time. So hopefully I finish this, get on the bike, and I'll see you at the CrossFit Games for test 1, which is the alpaca. And it's a redo as well of like last year but with the rope climbs, so we'll get to see how people would have done if the rope climbs would have been in it, because obviously the rope climbs were removed because of the rain, so it'll be interesting. I made it just about CrossFit Games day 4 for individual day 2.
In lane 19, tia-clair Cerveny. Lane 18, Ant Haynes. Lane 17, Michael Rodowski. Lane 16, Jason Hopper. Lane 15, David Cherokee. Lane 14, Nick Matthews. Lane 13, Colin Sosa. Lane 12, Cole Greasesaver. Lane 11, Will Morad. Lane 10, Chester Mederios. Lane 9, Henrik Hoppeliner. Let's go, Nick! Working on the alpaca.
Have allowed us to redo this one as Justin Mederios making his way to the top. Looks like he has retaken the lead. And Mederios showing control as he makes his way back.
It was great to see Justin do well after struggling for the first few days, and you could tell that he was really trying in this workout, really trying to push it to get a high finish.
Finish here as we approach 14.5 minutes. Justin Mederios pushes that alpaca into the end zone and he will ring. Give it up for Justin Mederios. Standard number 2 boy. Goes off in first, Pepper in second.
Here comes Frank Pikowski, Jordan Carl Gudmundsson.
Pikowski and Vellner came into this event really pushing it to try and stay at the front, and they held their own for a really long time.
Here goes Pikowski, getting into position, trying to catch Krenikov. Brett Pikowski is coming into the alpaca redo, ranked 6th overall. solid performance here will help him jump up.
Yeah, Brad!
Let's go, Brad! Now, Krennikov getting to the top first.
Gets his last and final rope time, and he will make his way out. It is 1, Roman Krennikov, 2.
Sadly, this is where Vellner started failing his rope climbs, and the whole crowd are absolutely gutted for him. I think often we don't see this when you're watching the live feed. You just see like who's winning and who's doing really well, and you don't see who's making mistakes and who's struggling. And actually, I think seeing them struggling makes them feel more human, and you also feel for them more. You feel more sorry for them. They seem less like superhumans and more just like really fit people that are actually deep down human.
Working on their clean and jerks. Is that Pepper done?
Right, Pepper. Halfway to the finish line.
And on the other side of it, Chandler Smith is a great example of that. He had some really big struggles in the last couple of years, and he's come back from it, and that is so inspiring to watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for all of the athletes.
Looks like Horvath and daughter.
Credit to Katrin here, she clearly has been working really hard on rope climbs. She did loads of them as well. She did end up failing a few later on, but it's clear that she's worked on them really hard, and she only fell like 1 round behind everybody else, I think, so it wasn't that much of a disaster. But again, like, everybody's human, everybody has weaknesses. It just happens to be that Katrin's is sometimes legless rope climbs.
Final round. Alex all by herself. As she pushes that bad boy into that third and final marker. Quick break. Could allow some of our other athletes to catch up.
As a tall needing 2 more reps, Horvath needing 3 more reps.
We are at the
2 is tall.
Nice fucking job, Gabby. Let's keep it up. We're crushing this. Let's go.
We're a little over 10 minutes in, less than 7. Keep it going, North Park. They gotta show control on the way down. Kazan getting it done. Alex Kazan.
Picture perfect.
Also, you have to see the grin on Katrin's face when she gets this rope climb. I love how she like faces adversity and she still comes back smiling and doing her best and enjoying it while she's doing it. And she just seems like happy to have achieved something that is good for her to achieve, like something that she struggles with. She just looked thrilled, and I love to see that.
This is music for the soul. Please get on your knees. Came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till he step out the cleats. When the whole place scream, gotta get out the.
Must be a lot more people today because there's cars where I normally go to hide in the shade. I don't know if you can see my sunburn from yesterday. It's actually chilled out a little bit, but see the weird lines on my shoulders as well. They look strange. I know there's probably an air-conditioned press room that I can go into now with my fancy press pad, but that would involve being around a lot of people. A lot of people that I worry would look at me like I don't belong there, because I certainly feel like I don't belong. I definitely struggle massively with imposter syndrome, and it's so much worse today. I don't know if I can get across to you how hot it is today. So it's currently 28 degrees, which is really hot for like the UK, but I think it's just way worse because it's so humid. That was emotional to watch. I don't know about you, but on the live stream, would you rather see your favourite athletes, like as many of the athletes as possible, or would you like to see just the main like leaders of the pack, the people that are leading the heat? Being here and watching the Berlin semi-finals has made me realise that not all of the athletes have good workouts all of the time. In fact, the majority of them have one or two workouts that really don't go well, or just some workouts that they finish in the middle of the pack and just not in the top. And we do know that you actually don't have to finish in the top all the time in order to end up on the podium or end up in the top 10. You just need pretty consistent like top 10 finishes and a few like higher placings. It's more about the majority rather than each individual workout. Obviously a couple of our favourite athletes did have like bad workouts there. So Pat Vellner was one of them. He ended up like failing some of the rope climbs, and that was so sad to watch. I really felt for him, but obviously that workout is super grippy, and a lot of the other women, and not just the ones that I got on film, a lot of the women started to struggle with rope climbs. Emma Carey as well, she was one of them. I didn't get any footage of her because she was in the previous heat, but she struggled. And then obviously Katrin, who has a history with struggling with legless rope climbs, and it sucks so much because the first one that she failed, and she didn't do a lot of attempts actually. I think she just saved herself to get one last one. But the one that she failed because she stood up. She didn't fail it because she was failing the rep. She wasn't like falling off the rope or anything. She failed it just because she stood right up at the bottom instead of passing the line in like a seated position. Pat was a different story though. He had a couple where he literally slid down. Obviously they were saying last time nobody finished that workout, but Laura did absolutely incredibly and did end up finishing the workout. She is a machine. Obviously she's got a bit of a climbing background, so she's going to be good at upper body pulling stuff, and I think she probably got a little bit fired up after yesterday when she struggled with that gymnastics workout, and the whole crowd was definitely rooting for her and all of the others for that matter as well. Brent Frykowski did really well in that workout as well, and I love seeing him at the top. He was one of my favourites when I started CrossFit, just because he's such a thinker and like really reads into the workout, so it was nice to see his strategy play out well. And Justin Medeiros did super well as well, in that he was in the heat before. It was like unexpected to see him in a lower heat. He seemed like out of place and like he should have been in the top heat, but obviously I think he was fired up again after yesterday and that like super emotional speech that he gave in the interview. It's clear that he is trying super hard to get back into that top. Next we've got a workout in the Coliseum which is called ski bag. I actually haven't had a chance to look up what the workout is. I've just been so overwhelmed, you know this. Oh no, I was gonna try and not say overwhelmed in this video, but I've done it now. Thankfully it is indoors and they'll have air conditioning, so I'll cool down a little bit. I've been complaining that it's hot over the last couple of days, but this is like another level. I have no idea how athletes work out in this level of heat. For context, my whoop yesterday was on a 14 strain, and I don't normally get a 14 strain unless I'm doing like a competition. In workouts, like a really hard workout might get to like a 13, especially if it's got a lot of cardio in it. A normal day probably goes between 10 and 12 if I'm training, and if I'm not training, between like 5 and 8. So 14 was a lot yesterday. Today I'm 5% recovered apparently, which is fantastic. I slept a bit more than yesterday though. Yeah, 14.9. But my whoop's died. I'm literally just wearing it for decoration now, so we won't know what today's like. It's been really interesting just to follow the athletes that I'm really rooting for, because normally when I watch the CrossFit Games I just see like who's winning each workout, and I kind of miss out on seeing the ones that I'm the biggest fans of. And normally I like athletes because of their personality, or because of stuff that they've spoken about, or things that they've overcome, or because they're from like the same part of the world as me. It's not always about them being the best ever. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it from that perspective as well, and I'm super excited about these next couple of workouts. Right, come with me and let's go into the Coliseum where there's some air conditioning and I can cool off. I just checked the leaderboard and Brent Frykowski is in second, which is so cool. I'd love to see him finish on the podium. And Vellner is in 12th, so at the moment he's not at risk of being cut. That's like, that happens tonight and it cuts at 30, so hopefully he should be safe. But I hope I haven't jinxed it now by saying that, but I think he'll be fine.
I've never seen 10 intense.
the first athlete with a sandbag on his shoulders. But there's about 2 of them, including Kotier and Krennikov, starting off on those squats.
So unfortunately my battery died and I didn't get the last clip, but Chandler Smith won and it was absolutely epic to watch.
Katrin, davidsdottior.
Your 1 and 2s with Katrin davidsdottior running away with it. The former champ looking unstoppable.
Katrin got no reps so much here on these squats. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think these are reps, or do you think he was being a little bit unfair? Obviously you've got to take into account the angle that I'm sitting at. I'm quite far above her, so it might make it look like they're more like no reps, but to me, I really don't know. I can't call it myself. I think maybe he's being a little bit harsh if you look at the hip brace and the knee level. Let me know, what do you think? It looked to me here like she was debating not signing the piece of paper. I'm not sure what the rules are, like appeal wise, whether you have to not sign it in order to appeal or what she was thinking, but it was interesting to see this happen.
Josh, your top 10 getting into action here with test number 5. These athletes are not worried about being on that bubble or making cuts. They are worried about that podium. Even ranked 3rd overall. Here comes Annie Thorne.
Laura absolutely annihilates this test. You need to watch her because she is so far ahead. I've tried to do some wide shots so you can see just how far ahead she is, because I know the live stream will just focus on like her and not where the rest of the athletes are some of the time. So have a look at the distance.
With just a handful of reps
So I cycled home between events, ate food, showered. I actually ended up ordering from DoorDash before I left and tried to race the food back to the hotel. That was quite funny. I beat it as well, which was even more hilarious. I'm exhausted and now I'm just catching an Uber back to the Aligned Energy Centre. The test itself wasn't entirely interesting, but it got interesting right at the end. Unfortunately, because my battery died, I think I actually got the footage of Chandler Smith winning, but I don't think it saved it because my battery died just as he crossed the finish line, which was really frustrating. But that was amazing to watch. You will have seen that on the live stream anyway, and obviously we've been rooting for him so far and it's really good to see him do well. And Laura Horvath as well crushed that. She like absolutely annihilated it, and that, I mean, I love to see it. She's great on a machine though. Any kind of like ski erg, any sort of erg, she's brilliant at. So it will be good to see what happens in this one. Don't think we'll get to see the run because we'll be indoors, but we'll get to see the muscle ups and the rest of it. So it's Helena, which is a variation on Helen. So they've just swapped out the pull-ups for bar muscle ups, so that should be interesting, and hopefully I get back in time. I'm cutting it quite fine. The first ones were on at like 5:15 and it's nearly 5 o'clock now and I'm not there yet.
Trying to take down 8:05. We are at 7:05. 1 minute to take down that top time. Here's
Katrin, davidsdottior.
Davidsdottior with 1 more rep to go. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen, for Katrin Davidsdottior.
Don't worry, I'm actually feeling slightly better than yesterday because I actually ate today and I didn't get horrendously sunburned like yesterday, and I drank enough water. Who knew that actually looking after myself would make me feel good? That last event was so exciting. Katrin was obviously in one of the lower heats, but she was really trying hard to get back up there. The battle on the women's side was amazing. I honestly thought Laura was going to run away with it when she took the lead like halfway through, but then Alexis and Emma both overtook her. Clearly they just like saved up a little bit of energy and went hard at the end, and it's so exciting when that happens, and nothing could have prepared me for how incredible the atmosphere is in the Coliseum. Like, it totally blew me away. Jeffrey Adler is doing amazingly well as well at the moment, and I didn't think he was actually a runner, but clearly he held his own in this workout. And obviously Roman is still at the top. He just seems thrilled to be there, which he should be. He's doing very well. I'm just loving seeing his work pay off. It's nice to see Brent Fikowski at the top as well. Like, he didn't finish like right at the top then, but he was definitely within the top few, and he's just being quite consistent, and you can tell how calculated he's being as well. Like, he's looking over, it looks like he's planning stuff at the start. You can just tell by his facial expressions, and I love that. I love the way he operates. It's just fascinating for me. And then Chandler Smith, he has just been incredible. I picked him as like one of the athletes I was going to kind of follow just because I really like his personality and his sense of humour, and then all of a sudden he starts doing so well and I wonder if he's still in second. He must, I reckon he will be. So Jeffrey Adler has moved up into second and Chandler Smith has moved up into third. I don't know what is going on with Justin Medeiros. He's in 16th now, so he is above the cut line, thankfully, but he just seems like exhausted. He doesn't have any like visible taping or anything that would suggest an injury. He doesn't seem to be carrying himself any differently or like limping or anything like that. Like Ellie Turner was limping. He just seems like very, very exhausted, which is not something we're really used to seeing. I hope he's okay. That interview that he did yesterday was very emotional and very moving, and it made me want to root for him, and he did really well in some parts of today, but in that last workout again he struggled. I'd like to hear like more about what's going on there. I wonder if he'll talk about it. I'm so happy to see Pat Vellner back up there again. He's in 7th now, which is good. He also pushed really hard in that workout. I personally would love him to end up on the podium, but I would like a lot of people to end up on the podium. I like too many of these athletes. So the women's side has been shaken up quite a lot, and I really like that about this year, that you just don't know. There's like very few points in it. Emma Lawson is now right at the top with Alexis second to her, and then Laura has moved down to 3rd. Annie is currently in 7th, Gabby's in 13th, and Katrin is in 15th. So again, they're both like totally safe, but they are just slightly out of the top 10 at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see what tomorrow brings. We've got the 5k in the morning and then the Olympic lift, and I think there's another workout as well. I can't wait to watch the lifting. As someone that is obsessed with Olympic weightlifting, and obviously I competed in Olympic weightlifting for a little bit, that is so up my street. I can't, like, the lift is definitely my favourite thing to watch literally ever, so that'll be exciting. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!